Hello, I'm Shane. Welcome to the Brayne Cast. Today we're going to do something different. This is Jen, and she's going to be asking me the questions for a change.
I appreciate that. Yeah, well, we've known each other for a little bit, and I've wanted to kind of get a podcast going for a while. And when you said, "Well, I already have Braincast set up," we started working with each other, and it's like, "Hey, well, we kind of like to get this momentum going and like to have these topics. Like, let's talk about it. Let's get it out in the open. Let's." Kind of elaborate on things that we do, elaborate on the great things that we do. And and so, yeah, I mean, thank you so much for bringing me on. And so, what I was, so a lot of people don't know like the history, like from me and you meeting, how well me and you know each other. So I had kind of some like introductory questions, if that's all
Right?
right.
Sure, let's go for it.
Cool. Well, because um, you have done so well in your marketing and done so well with getting clients and basically like going from zero to high speed. And that's really what you're good at. And a lot of people don't see behind the scenes that, you know, you've really made strides in building this business. A lot of people don't know that you had another business before, or you have another business before that's successful that you didn't really have to jump into AI. And so tell us a little bit about that because it's like you had your business, how it's set up. You have everything. You're like, oh, well, my business is successful. A lot of people, they want that, oh, my business is on autopilot. I have mailbox money, like a lot of people like that thought, but you were there and you're like traveling the world now where that business is completely run and you're doing AI. So what happened? Why did you jump into AI specifically and go all in?
Well, the writing was on the wall, in my opinion, as far as AI goes. It's coming, it's here now. When I started this business, it was more like it's coming and it's going to revolutionize the world. It's going to basically make it so that your average business is not going to survive without it. And I had pretty good long-term vision. I saw it. I watched maybe too many movies as a kid, and I just thought if this is going to be the future and it's going to be the revolution, I don't want to just implement it. I want to help build it.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So you had to have like a first use case. So your first client must have been like, man, I can solve this problem. I know I can do that. I know that I've jumped into business models and businesses because of that. All of a sudden I'm working, I'm fixing a problem, and I'm like, what am I doing? I did the shiny coin thing again. What was your
Yeah.
first client like? Like, how did you jump in right there?
Well, it was a lot harder at first than most people would expect. Like a lot harder than I expected. I expected to come into this business and everybody just know that they need AI and just want to work with me. But it wasn't the case. I had an entire warm network that pretty much all shot me down right off the hop. It I had a terrible time getting clients. Luckily, I did have the other business going, which was able to financially stabilize me through the whole growing pains of getting Brain AI off the ground. And it's only really in the last 6 months that we've really started to do some real damage with getting good clients and really helping them.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. Um, so we've talked about how big brain AI can be. And, I mean, we've had these conversations where it's like, we have this product, this automation going, this is a service we provide. And you have a list of clients that, we have things built that help in different areas of their business.
Mhm.
And I think what I've gotten from you is that these components can really like become a whole in helping the business entirely in every area. What do you see? And I know that you also, I mean, you travel the world. So, I mean, I see translations. I see, selling in other languages. I mean, that can easily be done now that we have this technology. Where before it was like, oh man, we're gonna, you know, use Google Translate and um, so next steps. What's the growth look like? What are you kind of hoping this overall vision is? What are those goals, those bigger goals?
Well, we're just looking to always expand. Like me personally, I like to focus on client care and make sure that our current clients are being handled to the best of our ability. And as far as scaling goes, I feel that as long as our current clients are getting amazing service, it then makes it so they want to do the type of videos that everybody sees me posting online, because anybody can type in a fake review and put it on the internet. But when you have an actual real client coming on camera talking about how great it is working with us and how amazing our business is and how we help book them 230 appointments in 1 month, that kind of thing speaks for itself, and it really helps our scalability and our yeah, it just helps. So the next step is obviously pushing forward, getting more clients, but I always want to kind of pull back on the reins a little bit, make sure we're taking on the right clients, first of all, that we will be able to really make a difference for. So I don't just take on every client. I don't just take on someone that for some money that I don't really believe we can help because their business isn't at the point where it's scalable right now. I pick and choose and make sure that the clients we take on are going to really feel the difference of what we're offering and what we're building for them.
Yeah, that's, having a vision and a goal is something that every business really kind of is the foundation of. Like if your business, if you have a leadership that has kind of a vague mission, a vague, nobody people will wander around and you're like, wait a second, we should all be on mission. And stating those kind of points where, it's about client satisfaction. It's about getting them on camera with exactly what they did because and I could apply that to some of the clients that I work with where it's like I've helped tremendously and I've had great reviews where they tell me face to face or they tell me how much I've fixed and solved their problems, but I haven't taken the steps that you have, and can you record a video for me?
Mhm.
Not that it's a fear, I would ask, but I mean, that's, that's a pretty small step making big leaps. Like that's, something that's very small that makes it so your business kind of just grows in a certain way. And if you have that kind of expectation with each client, I hate to say it, but with I think that some of the reason why people like us who do work in this industry, we get pushback is because there's AI slop. There's,
Mhm.
I'm going to automate this problem. I'm going to click this button. And it's almost like that revolution that happened when everybody realized that they could outsource. Before like Upwork, Fiverr, when people had this like misconception about outsourcing, and then all of a sudden everybody was outsourcing and doing that, a little bit cheaper. And then the results started to show that, well, this person didn't really care, or this person is just like writing. So like what did they produce? Um,
Mhm.
and I think that a lot of people do that with AI. They think that, oh, I'm gonna just throw it into AI and I made, X amount of dollars. And that's what I delivered to the client. And they never hear from the client again because the client is like, that was garbage. That was
Yeah.
AI.
That's a really good point, and it's a point that I bring up a lot when I'm doing an audit of a company, because before I take on a client, I audit their company. I don't just get on a call and try to close a deal. That's not what I do. I sit down with them. I get an idea of what their company's all about. I meet with their team and I audit their entire company to make sure number one, that we can help them, and number two, that they understand what the value we're providing. And that's one thing I always say is AI companies are just like car companies. You can buy a Ford Pinto or you can buy a Lamborghini, and Brain AI is a Lamborghini.
That's cool. So walk us through one of your really good client stories. I know that you're probably like, well, you see my videos, but you just said that you do an audit of a business, and that's something that pulling from this podcast, it's like it makes sense because you really work with clients well. Like I don't know, we've known each other like a year or something like that,
Mhm.
less, but you work with clients, I don't want to say necessarily with speed, but your execution is just done very well. Um, do you have a good client story that they had a specific, like a very specific problem that you found in one of the audits? Because first off, I didn't even realize that that audit process was why you're so effective. So that's something that I just put together because I know that you're effective. I know that whenever you speak with somebody and you end up working with them and help them with their business, it's a very effective start to finish. Like it's very, you're very effective at that. But I didn't
Yeah.
know that, I didn't know that that was part of like the audit and going through their business was part of that. So do you have a story where you were going through, found something specific, like a very specific problem, and how you ended up working it out and what their end results? Yay, you fixed my problem.
Mhm.
Do you have a specific story
Yeah,
you'd like?
before we get into it, though, I want to give credit where credit's due, and that's to my team. I have an amazing team, and that's why we're so effective. It's not all just me. I don't actually even do a lot of the AI stuff. It's all the boys, Khan, Taha, Tyler, and Sohaib are a big part of everything we do. And as far as the audit goes, we not only do an audit, but we also a month in we also provide a growth plan. So after we get started, for instance, let's just talk about Graham and Renew Energies, the company that I mentioned that we booked them 230 leads in a month. So we got on board with them. We built them a phone agent that answers all their calls in any language 24/7 and an SMS system. So that was their those were their main bottlenecks. Now, 1 month later, we we've built them a reviews agent, which is something that a lot of people overlook. In today's world, everything is online. If you don't have consistent, up-to-date reviews, then your customers could go somewhere else. They could go to your competitors who do have that. So what we have is an agent that reaches out to every single customer because we all know business owners don't have time to follow up. Our agent reaches out to every single customer as soon as that job's completed, and it asks them for a review. First, it asks them how their experience was. If their experience was less than a 5-star experience, then the agent goes back to the company and says, look, this was the problem. Can we fix this? And it gives the company an opportunity to turn any 3-star review into a 5-star review by fixing the problem before it ever sees the light of day online. And the reviews agent and the social media agent that we've implemented with Graham in month 2 has done a lot of good. He's gotten 8 5-star reviews in the last couple weeks, just from that review agent, and his social media agent is outperforming what his ad agency was previously doing, and he's gotten rid of the ad agency altogether now. And
Ad
that's all
agency.
organic.
Wow.
No budget.
Ad agency budget and marketing spend is the holy grail of ROI.
Yeah.
It just is. And that you are able, that you're doing that without budget, like without ad spend, that's crazy. That is way crazy. We should talk about that like way more into detail. I definitely want to see that. But like presentation style, because
Or
that is an
organic
awesome.
posting is the future online, more than the spending big dollars on ads, because people know that they're ads, and people are more responsive to organic posting. And we have a social media agent that can post up to 5 times a day. Not only that, but it scans the internet and sees what's relevant in your field today, not last week, not 2 weeks ago, not, oh, I came up with this ad 6 months ago and it performed really well, because what performed 6 months ago doesn't always perform today. So our AI agent scans the internet on what's relevant in your field right now today, and it'll create ads based on the relevancy of today.
That's sick.
And then
That's
it
way
can
sick.
also post 3 times a day. Like we have it posting on our own social media 3 times a day, but you can post five, and posting organically 5 times a day can produce just as much as spending $3,000 on ads.
That's amazing. And just a little backstory. So, knowing your developers, um, I remember one of the visions in creating that direction was okay, business in a box. You start with an idea, go scan the internet for what's working, and then the bot creates the social media post about what's going on that day. Like that. It was just. Just to let everybody know, like the science behind the scientist behind all of this, that's where the excitement for AI comes. Like, I'm going to build this thing. It's going to scan the internet.
Khan is a mad scientist that is always up to something, and we don't always know what he's up to until it's done.
He's so
But
busy right now.
he's always
Here,
doing
he's listening.
something.
That's cool. That's way cool. That's definitely a good story. I want to kind of clip that up one of these days and kind of go over the organic part because that's really amazing to outweigh the ROI of an ad strategy is yeah, that's big. I like it. And especially, when you told me that story, I'm like, wait a second, the solar industry, that's one of like I don't want to say a difficult industry, but it is populated with franchises, salesmen, over door knocking, over calling. Like that industry has a lot of DIY business franchisee stuff going on. So, you do get a lot of like the salesman that's going to go measure your house and measure it via satellite. You have all of that going on. So, to hear that but that solar is implemented for businesses, right?
So Renew Energy is not just solar. They do a lot of heat pump upgrades as well. And they're usually government funded. So they go to the government and get you funding in order to cover the costs of the upgrade in
Oh, that's cool.
some cases anyway.
That's way cool.
Hmm.
Um, so next story, let's move on to another client story. So I worded this question a little, have you ever, I worded it like this. Have you ever had a customer come to you where they had some kind of unachievable thing that you're looking at like we can try but I don't want to word it like that because it seems like you wouldn't jump into something that you thought was kind of on that I'm not going to work with it, I'm not going to try anything. You don't seem like you'd be at that level, but they might have come to you. I mean, even
I
stories.
actually did do it, and that's where I learned that lesson. Unfortunately, we only learned the hard way. A customer out of Dubai named Henry came to me. He wanted to contact a number of people in Singapore in order to sell pre-construction units for his real estate company. He's actually still a client, but the entire campaign was completely unsuccessful. We didn't provide one lead, and I felt terrible, and that's why I changed our stance. And we're not just here to collect money; we're only going to collect money if we can benefit the client.
Oh, that's crazy. So he just sometimes what I have seen and why I don't take on clients sometimes is, like you said, their scalability just isn't there. They lack the business processes. So if you even send them a lead, then they're not going to close it, and then your part was wasted.
Mhm.
Um, I see things like that. Um, I think that AI can help not just in outgoing strategy, but in things like what I do, where I'll help with it's weird, I'll solve a bookkeeping problem, press the button here, and the trickle down effect is employee X has to make this decision. And that's kind of, okay, now we're seeing where this has it's making everything else change. Like if you make a decision here, all these other decisions have to be made. And so what I've found is that internally in a business, like I'll help with things like HR, hiring and firing, weird things that you wouldn't think that I'm solving a bookkeeping issue, but really the problem is somewhere in management and you don't have clear view of what's going on. So did you find anything like that with his business particularly that you like kind of watch out for in the future or like was it just kind of the scalability thing?
For who and for Henry?
Yeah.
Oh, Henry is actually a very good client. It's just that particular mission that he put us on was unattainable. He's still a client of mine though, and he runs a very big real estate development company in Dubai, called Vaxon. And what we're doing now is we are the Canadian outlet, so to speak, to sell these units for pre-construction in Dubai. So we find real estate partners that we want to work with. We hire them, and we have the exclusive rights to it. So Henry doesn't want to have to he doesn't want to have to talk to all these real estate agents. He just wants us to deal with it. We deal with the percentages, and we pay the real estate agents. Um, so yeah, he's a good client. He has very good systems. His company has been in Dubai since before Dubai was Dubai. It's been passed down generation to generation, father to son kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool. That's way cool. Um,
It's also a customer for our gold standard trading bot as well. He's been invested now for a couple months, and he's very, very happy with the results. So he's now bringing us more clients there.
Your gold standard trading bot is just, it's sick. It is so freaking cool. When you started putting the advertising out for that, I was like, wow. I didn't know that you guys had made that much progress. I mean, thinking, okay, we trade. So a lot of bots out there will create their system on past research. It analyzes and then it makes its trading AI trading bot decisions. And that's, I mean, I hate to say it, but you get sent links, you get sent scams, and you're going to make, just put this much money in, and that's where you lose your money because you put it into their system and then they have you watching a fake screen. But with what you guys have built, and then going from conception to product testing to it being successful to managing, I mean, you're at like $500,000, right?
Yep.
That's so
And that
crazy.
that's Taha. Taha's the brains behind all that. We didn't develop it. We had a developer develop it,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's Taha runs that, and he focuses on that. And he makes sure everything's running well. He adjusts the risks. Puts on we just put on a news filter because the Bank of Japan made an announcement that kind of tanked the market. The bot actually made the right trade. It made the trade correctly, but the market moved so fast that it didn't enter where the bot wanted it to enter. It just moved too fast and it entered too low, and then moved back and hit the stop loss. So it ended up taking a bit of a loss. So now we've implemented a news filter so that the bot just doesn't work when there's news. and
That's
it's
actually
more.
really smart because
Yeah,
the bounce when there's any type of news is just chaotic. I mean, it's
yeah,
just, and that's kind of the nature of it. It kind of
yeah.
makes it so, oh, we're reading the market so well, news.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
you never know which way it's going to go either. Like the news could
Right.
send it up, could send it down. You could try to anticipate it all you want, but um, as you see on Twitter, people are blowing accounts left, right, and center. People are in the hospital because they're so upset, not realizing it's only money. But yeah.
No, that's so cool. That's way cool. Um, so tell me about I know because I'm just barely starting to work with you. Like we've known each other, we've talked about working with each other. Now we're going to be working with each other. A lot of when I talk to somebody, they have this hurdle in their mind about onboarding and pain. And
Mhm.
how those steps are like, well, I don't know if I'm going to have time, and how long does this actually take? A lot of people would like if they would just give you the keys, walk away, and then say, okay, I'll come back in 3 months and everything's going to be great. So, explain the onboarding process. You already explained kind of the audit, but just more specifically, especially if somebody has like multiple entities or they have multiple systems. So I'm speaking in multiple entities because maybe they have like you said real estate in Canada and then real estate in Dubai, or they have real estate outreach for people in Canada and then real estate outreach for people in Dubai. So not necessarily entity, but multiple systems that they have going on because that doesn't sound easy. Like having a central CRM head for marketing is a lot different than where everything else is handled. And sometimes businesses are not as put together as we'd like. Like they're via emails. Where does your
Yeah.
business live? Everything's via email. That's great. You're amazing for being able to handle all of that via email, but where does it live? Tell me where it lives. Um, Tell me some experiences that you've had where onboarding was difficult, system struggles that you've had, and what you achieved, like what the end goal and result was.
So as far as onboarding, the only time it's difficult is if the customer is non-communicative. So, like I said, we have an amazing team, and a different member of staff handles different AI systems. So, like one guy is amazing at one system, another guy is amazing at another system. Put them together, and like we had again, we'll go back to Renew Energies, but Graham was very, very attentive. He assigned a guy to us right away. So he signed his contract on a Wednesday. By Monday morning, we had his first 25 leads booked, ready to go. So we can move with extreme speed. We can have the onboarding process extremely painless, but it's all dependent on the customer. The customer has to be communicative with us, answer our questions in a timely fashion, and we can move quickly. Now, we also have another client out of Sweden who's a window installer manufacturer. Now, he came to us with no systems. So we have to start at the very beginning, which we're doing now, which is building him a whole custom CRM to handle all of the future AI systems that we're going to put in place. So when we start from the beginning like that, it's actually easier for us because we can plan the entire CRM from the build stage. So we know we're going to implement this, this, and this. So let's make it easy at the build stage of the CRM.
Oh, that's cool. That's definitely cool. And I kind of see that happening where a lot of softwares out there they become so massive and so one size fits all that it's like, no, this is a process in my business. I don't want to change my process because this is what's working. If I try to onboard in a CRM, then it's step, 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 training employee, onboarding issue, something, something. And it turns into making it another leap in your business instead of actually helping you where you're like, I thought that the CRM was going to be like the problem solver. I thought this was going to be, the main thing. But instead, we're training employees that don't want to use it. And then you go look in it and it's not being used correctly, and it's like,
Oh,
wait a second.
that's exactly what Peter, this guy in Sweden, came to us, and that's what actually slowed up this deal. Is because at first we didn't have all the information, and we were projecting to just build them an entirely new system from scratch. But after a few more conversations with Peter, I got to understand that he's very comfortable with his particular payroll software. He's very comfortable with the way things are working. So we had to come back with a better plan based around what he wanted, and integrating his already existing software for his payroll into our new CRM build that we're building for him. So it's about, again, having multiple conversations, not just trying to close and get money in on the first phone call. It's about getting to know the client and getting to know where his comfort level is, so that you can build a system that's going to be effective for that client in a way that he can use it. Because we talk about AI like we know the systems, we know what we're building, but they don't know that. They like, all they want to know is, what can this do for me? How is this going to make my life better and easier? And that's what we have to get across. And that is the main bottleneck, I would say, for most AI companies trying to make sales, is they're trying to sell systems, which, yeah, we are selling systems. But with us, we sell the outcome. We give you a clear picture of what it's going to look like for you once these systems are implemented.
Love it. I love it. And I really appreciate going through all this with me so we can make some good introduction. And I know that me and you were trying to really kind of put the LinkedIn footprint out there. I think that LinkedIn is a great place. A lot of times, people that are salespeople, they're people that run businesses, they'll end up on LinkedIn for some reason. And you kind of have that screen open where if there's something that is not just boring, lame content, we are gonna get some attention. And I really like talking to people. So I think the LinkedIn is gonna be fun, and I think this is gonna be some really cool information that we can, put out about Brain AI. So me and you working together. I am in accounting. I am going to be taking the CPA exam in 2026. It's a four-part exam. I'm really excited about that. It takes 6 years of school, but they just barely changed the laws. So it made it so it downgraded my whole entire profession. And after I just barely finished my extra 2 years, they don't require the extra 2 years anymore. So um, I love that. But I like being on the cutting edge. I mean, I wouldn't be entering the industry. You wouldn't say late in the game, but I didn't enter this industry in my 20s. I've worked in multiple businesses. I've seen different business structures, and I like solving problems. And so not entering into accounting, the past 5 years or so, I kind of think that's like the step. So, working in operations, working in sales, you get to see where these inner conflicts happen and where different processes can be put into place and where decisions are actually made. And so I think that it's still a great spot. Um, Going into accounting and what I've been working on. So, like I said earlier, I fix something in somebody's bookkeeping, right? I just like clean processes and correct information.
Yep.
So, I mean, and that's all I want, But in the process, I'm getting clean processes and correct information, and I'm weeding out the weeds. I'm finding, people that pay themselves $1,000 extra on checks. I'm finding merchants being changed. I find all sorts of crap, and it's like, oh, they talk about like fraud and internal controls a lot in accounting, and it's like that stuff gets implemented and put right in front of me in my life almost every day. And so when I'm working in accounting, I end up solving these problems. And I feel that having an accounting brain is going to put like a central repository of information. So my
Mhm.
sales spiked, or I had these cancellations, or I ended up there's some type of and all of these, oh, let's pull up some analysis dashboard, click, click, click. And that's kind of where the big data, that happened in the like 2010 or whatever. Big data was so cool, and we're all doing these dashboards and dashboard analysis and stuff like that. But I really feel that having a repository where you can connect to the system and analyze what's going on in the business. If you're having a lot of leads coming in, what's your close rate and all of that, that's marketing process. But, end goal, what's your profit on all of that? And I think that those metrics, I mean, it just gets fun where you can implement um, some processes via AI. So that's kind of where me and you have started working with each other. So having a like accounting infrastructure, you want to go international. That's like one of the first questions you asked me. You're
Mhm.
like, so how soon can we go international? What do you see as far as what are you excited about in having a brain accounting repository?
Mhm. Well, like you said, I want to be international, and I want to be into pretty much everything that's going to help my customers. And accounting and bookkeeping is a big part of keeping track of where your money's going. And to be able to implement an AI system that does the accounting, instead of waiting till the end of the month for you to find it, the AI can find it on a month-to-month basis. So, or sorry, at the end of the year. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
But by
Well,
that
sooner.
by
I mean,
by
so
the
with
end of the year, it could have
Mhm.
already cost you $50,000. Whereas if you can nip that in the bud almost immediately when it happens, because the AI will find it and say, "Oh, something's wrong here," then $50,000 not spent, $50,000 saved adds to the overall profit of the business.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, so I hate it when I post my wins and I'm like, yay, look at what I did, because sometimes I found that a customer was wasting $5,000.
Yeah.
I found it, I stopped it, and I'm all, wait a second, that doesn't get me. Where's my $5,000? I saved you if you would have continued, right?
Mhm.
But it happens. And it's really, with some of the more successful business owners that I've met and talked to, that's always something that budgets are crazy and there's always waste. And it's
Mhm.
just something that, oh, I bet that there's a ton of waste. When I've spoken with some of the people that own like larger companies, they know that there's waste. They know that, it's personnel that really has to manage it. It's not something that they can just, oh, implement this fix. So I think that would really put a lot of visibility into situations like that where it's kind of like an accepted thing. I move with
Yeah, they
speed,
just write it
but
off as part of the part of the game, and
yeah, it's
it
part of the game, it's part
eventually
of the process.
gets back charged to their customers. So by us saving them money, we can in turn save the consumer money, because the whole overall process becomes more efficient and more profitable and cheaper.
Yeah. And when people feel like they're valued more, they're making more money. Like business owner at the end of the day, you're looking at the bank account, not necessarily the financial statements, You're looking at
Yeah.
what, yeah.
What's
So,
left?
yeah, what's left? What did
That's
I
what I always
actually
used to do as a business. I pay all the expenses out, and then what's left is my profit. But I never
Yeah.
actually completely broke it all down to see where all the waste was. Because who has the time? When you're the business owner, you're also usually the marketing manager, you're the sales guy. Like, you could do multiple different jobs as the business owner on any given day. And breaking down where your leaky pipes is not always on the top of your priorities list. And that's where AI can really change the game, because a quick scan of the books through AI can tell you where your leaky pipes are.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think it's kind of cliche about business owners too. that they move with speed. And no, we don't have time for that because we're working on sales. Sales is the most important. There's not one successful business owner that doesn't kind of believe that theory in one way or another. That kind of like they're in this zone. And so even when I bring stuff up, because we have to analyze this. This is the end number. I see gray area in between. I need to see it clearly. And that side of the process is not something that it's like, great, what is she going to find today? But no, move with speed and focus on what's important in sales. And that's why like businesses become successful. You don't see somebody working on all the leaky pipes that's actually like the leader of a business that's, the head in charge. It just doesn't happen like that because this stuff is kind of secondary. But if you are at a point where you're like, okay, now we can implement some type of AI and get that part taken care of, it just kind of seems like the solutions would be definitely definitely valuable and worth it. You said end of the year you find things. So one of my stories is end of the year, $120,000 in bookkeeping errors makes it so you show $120,000 extra in sales, right? And this is end of the year. We're talking this person had an extension on their tax return. So we're talking 6 months after the end of the year. I'm into last year looking at this $120,000 extra that you would have paid taxes on if I didn't catch it, you know? And it's
And the
thanks.
AI would have caught it 6 months ago when it happened.
Yeah. And well, it was a slow leak. It was a slow leak. So, whatever. Um, so let's switch topics. Let's talk about what do you think all of the Trump administration building infrastructure into AI kind of means for all of us? I personally don't when things happen in politics, I really don't think, I think it's like their world and then my world. I think like they make decisions and I'm just over here in the world and nothing really changes. That's kind of my point of view. I mean, I am online and everything. I'm like, rah rah team, but I'm not really like I don't stuff like this. I'm concerned about privacy. I'm concerned about the wrong people being in charge. I wish that there were transparency, but I don't really know of many examples of any administration that really has like a firm transparency on, this is perfect. This is a awesome implemented system. And very few presidents actually have implemented systems. I mean, examples would be like Obama and Obamacare had a system that he implemented. And then before that,
A corrupt system, but I won't get into that.
but yeah, but I mean, it's still something, publicized is a system, processed out into the public, not successfully, but, it definitely like was there. The Tax Cuts Job Act was one of the biggest type of like system changes, and that was a good thing. But other than that, I mean, I can't really think of any big administration changes that actually kind of flow down. So what do you think
So,
about this AI infrastructure thing that Trump is doing? I think it's Intel
so
and even Sam Altman.
when it comes to governments, I really don't pay much attention to them because they move too slow. They spend months talking about things. We spend days implementing them. By the time they are done talking, we work for entrepreneurs who don't have the luxury of working with taxpayers' money. They need things done now. They need it done yesterday. They need their systems up and running and working. So while they're still talking, we're deploying. And I really don't pay attention really to any government. Like again, we're worldwide. So like we're in Dubai, we're in the UK, we're in the USA. So what one government does really doesn't affect us. I think they're all out for themselves. They're there to benefit themselves. And AI is a great talking point to say,
Yeah.
hey, let's waste some more money. And by the time we figure it out, like Brain AI has already deployed it across 3 nations.
Yeah, it's the new oil. It's the new
Mhm.
oil. And, it's kind of due and given because infrastructure for AI is going to be a kind of a worldwide issue. And I think that that's important that we're there as the US. But as far as how it actually flows downhill, I don't really know if there's anything better then to increase transparency and make sure that companies and systems aren't abusing AI because, how do you catch an AI bad guy? Well, with a better AI kind of thing. That's kind of where I stand on it. But yeah, most things in politics, you're right. They just go so slow and implementation doesn't really have anything to do with us other than we know that AI infrastructure and systems are getting better. Even the past year, I mean, everything's gotten
In the
better.
past 3 months.
Yeah, in the
things are
past three.
things are changing every day, and that's one of the big benefits to having Brain AI as a partner. Is number one, we're a big team. There's multiple of us, so whenever something new comes out, one of us is always right there. And if it can benefit one of our clients, we're bringing it right to them as soon as we found it. So we bring a great benefit that way by being on the edge of this technology and always being knowing what's coming next and implementing it first because speed wins in business.
I want to do a product sneak peek drop right here. I know that somebody on your team has the insight to do video AI outreach where Jen will be recorded saying, and I watched this show where they have hostages and they make them say one sentence, the lazy dog sits on the, and then AI, they were making politicians um, record this video and then the AI could make that politician say anything. So my video will be blasted out via DMs and be custom towards people's businesses one day. I'm not saying tomorrow or anything, but I know you guys have that in the works, and I think that's super cool.
Yep, we're working on
Yep. You're just quiet about it.
it.
I want that. I want that. That is going to be so freaking cool. That is
The the
because
the other new product drop that's really cool that's going to change things is the scrapers that Tyler's working on for the hiring process. So the hiring process used to take weeks and weeks, sometimes months. You'd post something on Indeed, 100 people would apply, you'd sift through resumes, and then you'd have to try to reach out to all of them, and some of them would answer the phone, some of them wouldn't, and then there'd be a lot of back and forth. So what we've done now is you can type in what you're looking for into our app that we've built custom, and it will then scrape all the major platforms from Indeed to LinkedIn, all the hiring platforms. It'll find you the best qualified applicants in the region for the position. Then we have a secondary system, which is our SMS, that reaches out and asks all the questions that you would normally ask. So you don't have to do all of that, any of that. So then by the time, and this whole process takes a couple days. It doesn't take weeks, doesn't take months. We can have the applicants within minutes. Then the SMS is the only thing that takes time. And the only way that takes time is if the applicant takes time to respond. But if the applicant is responsive, we can have you qualified applicants a day after you're looking for them.
that's cool. That's
So
really
you're
cool.
only,
I like that. I like that software too. I have
yeah,
some ideas with that.
you're sitting
I'll send you
down with
Tyler
with
ideas.
pre-qualified, ready to hire applicants. You can get 100 of them. You can get five of them. It's all dependent on what your needs are, and it's very cost effective. And when you save time, you're also saving money.
Yeah, definitely. What's weird about the recruiting industry is it's almost like a sales pitch because somebody is looking for a job. They're looking for maybe something else, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're happy and they're loyal. And you find people that are qualified, and it's almost like, the things that they love about their job that keep them there. Sometimes it's, definitely not about money. I mean, well, I get to take half of Fridays off for like at my job, we go to lunch like once or twice a week and we hang out at the restaurant for a while. Like, I mean, just weird things that, that you don't really think about. I get to set my own hours is, why they might switch. And the recruiting industry is almost like a sales pitch. So when you're talking to somebody, I think that it's really interesting to kind of get better at those conversations where,
Mm.
you have your hiring manager or you want to get on the phone with somebody. Hiring somebody is stressful. I mean, you want a top dog. You want somebody that, oh shoot, I don't want to replace anybody in my staff, but I know we need somebody here. This is what I want. And then you write this job description of this immaculate new recruit, that does everything. And, it's scary because it's a big commitment. It's like, we put 6 months into this person and they ended up not really being able to handle all of the situations that come in front of them. So, I mean, the
As
recruiting
long as the
process.
applicant answers the AI's question honestly, we can negate all of that. If the applicant lies, there's nothing we can do about it. They lie, they lie. But we don't ever suggest that you just straight hire the applicant. We give you the qualified applicants, and then you still have to do an interview and decide for yourself whether or not you want to hire them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's cool. I like that software. That software is looking really good.
Mhm.
Okay, so before I'm done with all my questions, I just kind of wanted to bring up how, like, when you started or when we started this conversation, you had said everybody in your warm network had turned you down and said, and I get the same thing. I get, don't call it AI. You sound like you believe in sci-fi, it's not AI. It's just a software program. I'm like, okay. Okay, it's just everybody calls it AI. It's just I think that some of the news articles that come out are kind of funny, where AI is going to replace everybody. And in the accounting industry, I almost like it because some of the accounting things that level up my industry are get rid of the bookkeeping tasks, get rid of that this is data entry. I'm doing muscle, high level things that require a thought process and require planning and require language that actually conforms with legal with other financial things that you want to do present to your partners or anything. And I think that getting rid of the fat with data entry jobs, customer service jobs that are just, oh, she sent 15 emails today. Did she do her job? She submitted 40 hours last week. Did she make any sales? And this is something I was dealing with is this girl, she submits 40 hours. And I'm like, she stopped working. I'm like, no, I'm a payroll at this one company. And I'm like, no, no. I'm like, I need approval from 3 managers for this one. This is not happening. And it's just because all of the signs in my job, I was able to stop that. And she was trying, we never paid her because she made it up. She sent
Mm.
15 emails 2 weeks ago and, was expecting to get paid. So
Those are the
I think,
type of jobs we can automate. Like, there's no
right,
need
those
to
are
be
the type of jobs that,
have an employee that sends 15 emails. We can build you a system that can respond to all your emails in your tone, and nobody will be able to tell the difference that it's not you. We can even build you a system that can answer your phone and sound like you in your tone, and they still won't be able to tell it's not you. It's getting scary. We can make it so you can go on vacation and everybody thinks you're still there.
it's so crazy. Yes, but get rid of the fat. A lot of people think that, oh, the AI takeover, well, it's just getting rid of jobs. No, it's elevating us as a society. So
Elevating the people who work with it, it is going to eliminate a lot of the medial jobs, the receptionists, the assistants, the bookkeepers, like the people that their jobs are not that difficult, the simple jobs. We usually suggest keeping, if you have a good receptionist, keep the good receptionist and use the AI as a backup. Like when she's on lunch, AI doesn't take lunch. When she goes to the bathroom, when she goes home at night, that's where you use your AI. But we don't ever push to get rid of your employees. We want to elevate them by taking simple tasks off their hands and allowing that person to then do more important jobs.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of a hard-hitting topic because the misconception is that oh, they're just gonna, it's just gonna replace jobs and, what is this person gonna do? And it's really cool to see people really elevate themselves in what they're doing. And oh, well, now I have this much freed up. Now I'm able to look at this process and this process. And you end up seeing somebody go from being an office assistant to manager to, a directing type level. And,
Mhm.
next thing you know, they're right hand. And you kind of see that inside businesses where, they are taking that management step a lot easier with AI. And I don't think that,
It's also creating new jobs for people that otherwise don't have much of a future. Like my young guy, we have two guys that are 17 years old and a 22-year-old. Like these guys were looking at a pretty grim future on this planet of maybe having to go to school for 4 years and waste your time and waste your life, or do construction, and break your back for your whole life, like what I've done. Like there, it's creating new opportunities for the young generation that are taking advantage of it.
yeah, I think the growth of it is pretty amazing. And especially because we are in the age that people are using social content, like you said, because you get kind of this personalized, does this person or business fit my needs instead of I'm going to Walmart, you know. When you're getting a business product, yeah, it's important. I think that like banking products would kind of be an industry standard type of thing where yes, you want institution, and then a lot of people step into crypto. I would rather have a crypto instead of banking institution. Not talking about that debate, but then you go into, okay, am I going to get the Walmart? Am I going to get the Walmart of items and get crap customer service? Nobody has customer service anymore, where, no, my issue is this. And you end up just kind of paying for something that is just access instead of like a personal person that really works with you. And I think that people step from their business and say, you know what? It's time that I work with somebody that does kind of take care of all these processes and having like an outside person that really matches you and really matches, what you want your end result to be is just becoming more and more something that they'll see on social media, identify with it, and be able to take that step. I really think that we're going in a good direction to make it more personalized for people's businesses. So, anyway, those are
And
all my
we are
questions.
very responsive too. So like a customer can message me on Sunday night, and the problem will be solved by Monday morning. We work 7 days a week. I don't take a day off ever. I'll be working Christmas Day. I'll work New Year's Day. I work Easter holidays. I don't believe in days off. I just get bored. So that's how we roll in Brain AI.
I appreciate that definitely, and I think that it kind of helps me pick up my step. Me working in accounting and working just for myself, working with your team is a lot better because you guys really put the fire under, no, it's time to deliver to clients. This is what we need. It's time to deliver. And that's really cool. I really appreciate being with you guys. So those are all my questions. Huh?
Amazing. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode of the Braincast.